So we have a full moon coming up this week in a few days, and it's 22 degrees Aquarius. So look for the place where you have that energy. Um, and this full moon has a connection to Saturn. And today I wanted to talk about this as like two energies, two aspects that we have going on. Each of us is kind of like a chick that's been wanting to bust out of an egg for a while. We've been working on this for a while. So as I talk about this, think about where you felt constricted, where you felt held back by rules and regulations and shoulds and have tos and super ego voices saying you're not enough, you're never going to be enough, you're never going to measure up unless you do A, B, and C in this order and cross your T's and dot your I's and play by the rules. So think of the part of your life, even if you don't know your chart, where you've been feeling this straitjacket and this disciplinarian energy and something that recalls to you teachers maybe that you had. Did you ever have a mean teacher in school? I had teachers that would get mad at you if you yawned, in class. They would get upset. And so all of those tapes that have been running in a certain part of your head about a certain aspect of your life, with the ruler slapping you on the knuckles, you're not doing enough, you're never there. That voice is highlighted with this full moon. The moon is emotions, it is culminations, it is fruition, it is something getting big in front of our face so we can't ignore it emotionally, and the emotional body has a response to the events around us. And Saturn is chilly, cool, slow, granite-like, disciplinarian, and all these other things that we've talked about. And there's this other part of you. And this is the rabble-rousing part. And this is the rebel. And this is the part that's like, hey, if I pay attention to the rules all my life, I will never have the chance to authentically just be here. Just like if you've ever seen a toddler, how they just step into a room and they're in their diapers and they're like, yeah, I'm here. That part. That part is that's the between, if this were a boxing match, that part, the toddler, the unpredictable toddler gets the upper hand. So this week, there's a highlight on this ongoing tussle between what you think you have to do to be a good girl or a good boy and get an A in life, and this part that's like, wait a minute, I could do this faster. I've got a new idea. I want to run with a new idea. It's like a lightning bolt that's hitting me and I'm having downloads about it. That's the part that is having the tussle with the stodgier, older part. The part that Saturn has been running through for a while is a part where you're afraid. You're kind of afraid to get it wrong. You're afraid that you're going to get criticized for not doing something the way you're supposed to do it, and people are going to notice. And it's a really uptight feeling. It's a tight feeling of constriction and just having to just repetitiously go through these motions. And you're like, is there even anything I'm getting out of this? And there is something you are getting out of it. It's not easy. But there may be something that you are tracking through that Saturn transit. You are tracking it, and after it's done and gone on to the next portion, you'll be like, oh, now I get it. Now I get how I was more responsible in that area. Now I get how I stood up and I responded to life with the abilities that I truly have. Now, the Uranus aspect, is not really, it causes fear. It's not really in fear because this is the authentic, You know how they say that that physiologically there's no difference between fear and anxiety and excitement in the brain? Well, if Saturn is fear and oh my God, I'm messing up and I'm not paying attention to all the rules, Uranus is like I feel excited. And so Uranus is here to get excited. So this is a week where you're going to feel these two parts like I'm scared because I'm not there yet, and the excitement, well, what if I do something new? What if this wall is an opportunity to break through and get through the shell and have a new experience? And I want you to pay attention to that voice a little bit more this week, because that is the bigger voice, and that is the voice that has innovation in it. um, it's got, Uranus is the higher mind, and it's a disruptor because it doesn't follow the rules and it zigzags when it should go in a straight line according to Saturn. So this is a week to really let that part have some freedom. And whenever, this is a change making time. This is a time when we burst into something. We're going to burst through something. We're going to have had it with something, and we're going to try something new. And so this is a time to listen to that part of yourself. Do something a little bit abnormally. Do something a little bit out of the box. Be a jack in the box. Even if you're just playing that role, because it will give you some insights that are valuable for how to get out of any boxes that you have imprisoned yourself in the last 2 years or 30 years. It could be, we're looking at all kinds of prison structures right now. We're looking at all kinds of boxes, rules and regulations. How does that make your spirit feel? Is there room in this life for you to have more soul expression? Because Uranus is really coming from up there. It's really coming from the larger, more expansive self that is not limited by time. Saturn's always tracking how much time we have, how much time things take. Uranus doesn't care about time. So be in that more timeless space of yourself. And the other thing I always want to say whenever we're dealing with Aquarius, Leo, and by the way, Leo's not very interested in rules and regulations either. Like, I've just got to be me. I'm going to do my song and dance. I don't tell me how to be, because that's my individuality. So there's a lot of tension going on right now in the psyche and in the collective space. I want to say something about paying attention to messages of the South Node, the transiting South Node being Scorpio. And Scorpio can be something around, many things, but it can have messages around fear response that's very habituated. It's very instinctive. And it also can talk about how a little bit of a substance is a medicine, but too much is a toxin or a poison. And where are we engaging with something too far that's become toxic to us, either in our environment, within ourselves, wherever you have the Scorpio part of your chart right now, that's where this is active. But it's also a place where we can really have the insight to say, okay, that's toxic and I'm not going to allow that anymore. Even if it's like a pattern, a habituated pattern inside the self, like I was talking about, the superego can become quite toxic. But in small amounts, it allows us to kind of check our behavior a little bit so we can fit into society and not be too, rabble-rousing and crazy. So there are messages from all four angles right now. There are messages from the personality self that just wants to enjoy life and just have a good time and just be who we want to be and be thrilled with that. And then the more constricted, I want to get this right, and there are rules to society. And then there's the jack in the box that just wants to download a new we can even see this as a new set of frequencies, which also translates to a new set of thoughts about what you get to have and who you get to be in this life. So that's all I want to say about the full moon. I feel like this is a checkpoint for a lot of people in their pivots that they're doing. You know, if there's an area of your life where you've felt like, I can't go any further here, I need something new, this is the moment to let that new information come, download into your, and translate into thoughts into your brain. And so you can just like open up the top, you know, the energy center up here, and just let some of that information in, and do a little journaling, like, what if I did this? What if I did that? That's new and different and out of the box. Because I feel like there's a lot of freedom that is here to be had right now, during a time when the groupthink is that we don't have any freedom. That's my message to you today. Enjoy. I would love to hear your insights about how this full moon feels to you. Do you feel shut down? Do you feel a little depressed? Or are you feeling some freedom and feeling like some aliveness and some sizzle and electricity, and like, there's another way to be here? So I would love to hear back from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon.